G'day Scarefest fans, Glenn here from fakeshemp.net. This week I want to show you a movie that absolutely scared the shit out of me when I was a kid. I used to go into video stores and look at all of the really cool covers in the horror section, which I'm sure you did too, and this one scared me to death before I'd even seen the movie. There was a particular image on the cover which we'll talk about when you see the trailer, and it's the stuff of nightmares, but it's also an absolute delight. It's from 1981 and it's called Dead Kids. So I guess in 1981, the title Dead Kids might have been a little bit too graphic for the American market, and fair enough too, I suppose. I mean, Dead Kids doesn't exactly conjure a lovely image, so over there the film was actually released with an alternative title of Strange Behaviour. Some of you might even know about this movie, but I would wager guess that not too many of you actually realise that this is an Aussie flick. Well, sort of. I'll get to that in a minute. It stars Louise Fletcher, who had won the Oscar for Best Actress only 5 years prior for One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, as well as Michael Murphy, who you might recognise from White House Down, Magnolia, and even the 2 Ewok movies, amongst others, and Dan Shaw from Tron and Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. He was Billy the Kid in that. And you'll recognise a whole lot of others too. Needless to say, Dead Kids is very, very American. In fact, the entire movie is set in America. However, it was an Australian, New Zealand and American co-production, and it was actually written by Bill Condon, who went on to direct movies like The Good Liar, Beauty and the Beast, the Twilight, Breaking Dawn pieces of shit, and Dreamgirls, amongst others. So anyway, now that all of the name dropping and trivial contextual crap has been laid, here's a brief rundown of the story. To put it simply, it's about a mad psychologist brainwashing teenagers and turning them into serial killers. So the kids of a small Illinois town are being paid to undergo radical medical experiments, and with each treatment they become more zombified and deranged. But rather than over-explain it, I would rather you just go out and watch it. It's available for you to stream on Amazon Prime, but it's also available on Blu-ray over there. But don't forget to use the American title of Strange Behaviour when you're looking for it over there. All you really need to know about the film is that it's batshit crazy and it's a horror bus delight. The production design is wonderful, the violence is delectable, some of the imagery will stick with you long after you see it. Perhaps the most notorious image is that of a syringe being plunged directly into a kid's eyeball. That shit made it to the movie poster, and it cannot be unseen, and that is what terrified me as a kid. Like I said earlier, some of you may already know about Dead Kids, but I did want to give you a bit of a heads up that it was made down here. Actually, it was shot in New Zealand, and that gives it a really surreal kind of atmosphere. So when you watch it knowing that it's not really American, the small eccentricities begin to show. Some of the actors are American, some are Australian, some are from New Zealand. But when you have all of them pretending to be from the same place, it is one hell of a mind trip. It's probably important to also note that the musical score was written by Tangerine Dream, who would later become synonymous with movie soundtracks from the 80s and the 90s, and this was one of their earlier ones, following movies like Sorcerer and Thief, and then they went on to do iconic scores from films like Risky Business, The Keep, Firestarter Legend, Near Dark, Miracle Mile, and so on. And I could go on forever about this film, but I just don't have the lung capacity, so please go and find Dead Kids, aka Strange Behaviour. I know that you're all respectable horror fanatics, and so as Scarefest fans, you owe it to yourself. What a trip of a flick. So there it is, Dead Kids, aka Strange Behaviour. There's the Blu-ray from Australia. I'm sure you can find it in America just as easily. The cover over there is very cool also. And track it down and then find me at fakeshemp.net. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Podbean, we're on Stitcher, we're on all of the socials. Share your comments, tell us what you think, and I'll catch you next time.